In this video, I'm going to build a full image to 3D model AI system inside of n8n, which allows us to be able to fill out a form, putting in a prompt and an image of a product. Then we improve the image of that product before making a fully realistic 3D model that we can use. Now, this is great for businesses like e-commerce because they simply don't have money and the time to create 3D models of those products. And on the other side, we have architects where we can simply spin up a quick proof of concept for that specific sort of building and so on that we can use for our work. And in case it's your first time here, my name is Michele, and over the past 12 months, I've personally helped over 40 businesses implement AI and automations and taught over 20,000 people in the process, all starting with zero technical knowledge. With that being said, let's dive in. I'm gonna go ahead and press execute workflow. We go here to this form. I'm gonna use this image right here of a simple sweater. And I'm gonna say, this right here is a brown sweater. I'm gonna press submit. What this will now do is it will send it to Google Drive to upload the file. Then we use AI to describe the image that we just uploaded, although we do have some sort of description that comes with it. Then we actually use AI to enhance the image prompt to then give it to NanoBanana's new image model to then be able to create the image. Then we wait 15 seconds to then be able to get the image. So we actually receive the image because it's a two-step automation here. We send a signal to NanoBanana saying, hey, can you create this image? Then we get it back. Then we go down here to creating a prompt for the 3D image model. And then we're using a model called Tripo3D before actually doing something called polling, where we send a signal saying, hey, can you do this for me? Or can you actually make the video, or can you make the actual creative? Then we wait 15 seconds every single time. And we ask this, hey, are you done? Are you done? Are you done? Until it's actually finished, where we go to the last steps. All right, as you can see here, it finished running after 12 times trying, which is about 180 seconds, which is 3 minutes. Finally, we get the URL of the final thing, and then we can download the model. So if I go here and I press download, I can get the file, and we have something like this, where it's 3D, right? Taking the image, turning that into a 3D sort of model right here, which you can use for our business to show customers or to show whatever it is. Now, is it amazing? Of course, it's not super amazing, right? I mean, this is not super accurate, and neither is this. But at the same time, it gives us a good foundation that we can use as a starting point. And the better the prompt is, the better the actual detail of the actual sweatshirt is. So with that said, let's go into the system step by step. So the first step is actually filling out the form, because there has to be some sort of input. Like, what is the thing that goes inside the actual system? If I go to the form here, I titled the form 3D model generator, and we put generate 3D models from screenshots and descriptions using enhanced AI processing. Then we add two different fields. The first field is image description, and the second field is image. So if I press execute step, this will take me to this page, which in theory, you would have to describe sort of what it is and the image itself as well. Now I'm gonna go to Lincoln Memorial, and let me go to this one, for example. I'm gonna save this. So now if I go back here, I can then say Lincoln Memorial. I'm gonna choose a file. In this case, let's choose this file right here, which is a Lincoln Memorial. Let's open it. And now by giving it this, it gives it the input, which is the image, that we can then use to then transform that into a 3D model. Now this right here will be an example for an architect, right? Because architects in general, they need to make 3D models of different buildings or sites that they're going to, just as a proof of concept or some sort of idea that they're thinking about. So they can visualize it on a 3D model to then look around the building and so on, which is exactly what this does. So I'm gonna go ahead and press submit. Once you press submit, this will now send the actual image through. And because it's a file, right, it is considered as a file. Let's see why it's not working. It's taking a bit longer than expected. All right, the form just submitted. And right here, I can view the actual Lincoln Memorial. And this will be the form submission, or which is the input of the image. And the image is always gonna be in binary format. Why? It's because, again, we're using the file element. And this downloads it in n8n. I'm gonna press pin, so I don't have to rerun this again later. I can just have the input. The next step here is actually uploading it to Google Drive before adding it to OpenAI. Now that I'm thinking of it, I don't think we have to upload it to Google Drive, because if I need to analyze the image with AI, OpenAI actually asks me as an input to have either a binary file or an image URL. And if you're not following here, just tag along. I'm just going through my thought process when I'm doing this, but I think I actually made a mistake, because you could do it this way, but considering the fact that OpenAI actually has binary file or has image URL, because it has binary file, and we mentioned that we actually get this in a binary format. Second step, oh, we have to uppin this and test it again. Okay, I think we actually can pin the data in a binary format. Do that again. Memorial, submit, and now this should submit through the form right here, right? And this again is in binary format. So we can actually remove the step that I had here, attach it to the next step, And now we have AI, which analyzes the image, which is the one right here. Now, the first step we have to do is actually connect our OpenAI. So again, we're giving it the image. We're telling AI, hey, can you analyze the image that we have right here? Then give it to the next step, which is, can you make the prompt of the image even better for NanoBanana's model to make the image enhanced, right? And so this step right here is just to take the image and analyze it, to say, hey, what do we have in the image in the first place? The first step is actually connecting our account. So we can go to create a new credential. You can go to platform.openai.com. You can go to dashboard, go to API keys, and you can make a key right here. Once that's done, you can connect your account, and the resource will be image. The operation, which is what is the action that we're doing? It will be analyzing an image. The model itself can be ChatGPT 4.0, that's fine. As for the prompt, you can screenshot this, give it to ChatGPT and say, can you transcribe this? But all we're saying here is that we have to analyze the given image for 3D modeling potential and return the analysis in the YAML format, which is a way for us to just represent something. And the YAML format is the image type, main subject, current perspective, structural elements, depth cues, color scheme, complexity level, suitable for 3D, recommendation, and missing details. Only output the YAML format without additional commentary. Now, this right here is great because it allows the actual AI to analyze it with some rules, right? Because these are the exact same rules that we use to then be able to give it to the next models to create the image in a better way. And after we give it the prompt, we actually give it the input type. So the input type in this case would be analyzing the image. Because that's the action, the input would be the image that we have to analyze. And so again, previously, what I mentioned was that if we downloaded the image using Google Drive, then we would give it the image URL, which would be it's called a web content link, right, from Google Drive. In this case, we can just straight away give it the binary file or files. In this case, it's just one. And the input data field name will be the title that we get here, which is image. If I pin this now, I think I'm gonna have to rerun this again later. I have to make sure that this is image, all good. I can just press execute step. This will now test it, just so we can see the actual prompt. And it should give us an answer, which is the YAML format of this image right here with these variables. As you can see here, we get a ton of different variables, but the one that we really care about is just the content. So don't worry about anything else. If I go to JSON, I can actually see the full thing here. And we start to see image type, perspective, and some other stuff as well, which is great. All right, once this is done, we go to the next step, which is an AI agent that allows us to be able to enhance the prompt. Now, the AI agent itself is connected to its brain, which is the LLM. Again, it's just OpenAI. You can use GPT 4.1 mini. And the actual output parser is just a way for us to tell the AI agent, hey, the only variable that I want here is called image_prompt. And that's it. We just put string because it's just text, right? So don't worry about that. But we just say, hey, this is the output that I want in this format. Just give it to me like that all the time. And that will be the tool, which is the actual thing that it uses to take action that we connect here. Now, if I go inside the AI agent, the source per prompt, which is the user message, is the thing that we give it every single time. So in this case, if I go full screen, I can see that I say your task is to create an enhanced 3D ready image prompt for NanoBanana. And for some reason, my accent just doesn't like that word. Then we make sure that the enhanced image will be optimized for 3D model generation with clear depth, structure, and dimensional details. And then we give it the user description and the description of the reference image. We have link and memorial, and then we have the full description here. Depth cues, color scheme, complexity level, suitable for 3D, recommendations, missing details, and so on. Once that's done, we can turn this on, which is require specific output format, because that's how we get the actual output parser here. Because if I turn this off, we wouldn't have the option here. We just turn this on and we can attach this here. Cool. Once it's done, then we give it the actual system message. So the system message is the main prompt. Now you can see that this is a pretty structured prompt. I'm not going to go through it step by step, but just know that we have the role, the purpose. We can actually just put hashtags here. So rules, not roles, roles. Let me do hashtag. The reason why we do hashtags is because if I go here, for example, a hashtag is just heading 1. Go like this heading 1, heading 2 hashtags. And so just the same way that you do an essay and you have this to signify that this is the most important thing to read at the top, that's the exact same thing we do here. This is the title and this is the actual text. Then we have core principles, then we do a bunch of stuff here. And finally, we tell it, hey, example structure, we have image prompt, and that's it. And the image prompt will be the only thing that I need out of you. Let me make this more structured here. I don't know why it does this, but there you go. And then we have key focus areas as well, some other stuff as well that we want. Now, once this is done, then we can run this. So I'm gonna pin this again, the image model here. when I press execute step. And this should now take the prompt image and it should give us a fully optimized prompt, which is transformed this 2D photo of the Lincoln Memorial viewed from an angled aerial perspective with a bunch more stuff here, which is great. And then append this. And the next step is actually creating the image. So we give it the image that we want. We then use the AI to analyze the image. Then we made an image prompt. And now we have to use the actual model to make the image. And the model is the NanoBanana model from Gemini. If I go in here, what we actually use is a software called Fal.ai. Put Fal.ai. You will get to this page right here. All you have to do is just log in, make an account. And then once you make an account, you will get to the page that looks like this, sort of a dashboard. And you want to make sure that you add $10 of credits. So if I go to account and I go to manage billing, you can add simply just $10 to use it. I have $10 worth of credits right here. Now, as you can see, that run right there actually costed us $0.44 that we used for that specific run from the start until the end, which is actually okay in terms of pricing. So it's nothing to complain, especially because we are using two models, the first one for the image and the other one for the 3D model. And so now all we have to do is actually search NanoBanana right here. And you can do NanoBanana edit, which is text to image, because again, we're turning text, which is a prompt, to an image. And in order for us to use it in the automation, we can just go to API. We can go to HTTP curl, which is the way that we actually set it up. We just have to set this up. So we do it manually. All we have to do is go back here and let's add an HTTP request. There we go. Now, the reason we use this is because if I go here and I search up Fal.ai, it doesn't actually show up. And so in not showing up, we have to make our own new app. And it's actually very, very easy. The first step is going inside here and make sure that we have the right method. So this is the request post. So we go here, request post. Then we have the URL, which is this right here. So we copy the URL and we paste it here. Then we have the header authorization. So we want to go here and actually, instead of adding it to headers, because you could add it authorization and you put key and then the API key, there's actually a better way, which is authentication here, generic credential type. Then you go to header auth. And now you can go to create a new credential. You can put authorization. And then you can put key, let's put this expression. And now you need an API key. So to get your API key, you just have to go here to your profile. And you can go manage API keys, press add a key here, name it whatever you want, test, create a key, and you will have this URL right here that we can copy and you can bring it back to here. Now, the reason why we do this, and you can call this Fal.ai test, is because either we add it as a header auth, which allows us to just toggle this on whenever we have to use Fal.ai, or we can add this in the header parameters every single time. The only problem with this is that we have to relook for an API key. We have to relook for the headers, relook for everything. Whilst this, we can just next time, if it's like it usually starts like this, we can just go here, generic credential type, we look for header auth, and then we look for the actual software. And I have other softwares as well, like key.ai. So now that we have this, we don't actually need the headers for that specific thing, but we do need the headers for the content type application.json. So go back here, headers, content type, and then put application.json. We're just basically making an API request, because again, the bad thing about n8n is that it doesn't have a lot of applications connected to it. And then finally, we have the data, which is the prompt. So I'm going to copy this from this curly bracket to this curly bracket. And I'm going to go here to send body. And I'm going to go to JSON. Yes, that's correct. And then I'm going to do using JSON. I'm going to paste this here. So now I'm basically giving it the image URL, which in this case, it actually wouldn't be 2, it would just be 1. And then we give it the prompt. So all to say that that's how you make the actual request, in case you didn't know. And so in this case, we have the URL, we have the header auth, the post, and finally we have the post request right here, which is the prompt, right? The image prompt here. And we have the image URL. So actually, now that I think of it, there's a reason why I had the Google Drive there. It's because we're also giving it the image URL of the image that we give it, right? And so let's actually add the step back here, because Fal.ai actually doesn't allow binary data. So this right here is binary data, like the actual file that we download here is in binary format, but we can actually send that to the server as an input. Because in this case, we're saying, hey, generate an image using this prompt and this image, right? So generate image based on the image and based on the prompt. And so the input here actually has to be a web content link. Web content link is something that you find here in Google Drive just by connecting your account. and make sure to watch this video up here to know exactly how to connect it. It's just a bit of a longer process. Then you want to do file, upload, image, because that's the title of this. And then you have to choose the different files that you want inside. I just need the file name hello, just as a test. And then once we execute the step, so we actually run this, this should give us a web content link. A web content link is something that I can paste here, and it should download the actual file here. As you can see here, this is the file that I got, which is exactly what it does. And that's the link that we use that's publicly accessible to anyone, because it is a downloaded link that we can then feed into here as well. And now it should give us, if I'm not mistaken, just go full screen. I delete this. It should give us a green sign. Unpin node image prompt agent and execute. Where is it? Image prompt agent. Let me execute. Let me go here and see why it doesn't work. Describe the item method doesn't work with pin data in this scenario. Please describe an image. Please unpin, describe an image. Okay, let me just stop this. I can run this from the scratch. And now also this is erroring. So what is it saying? The operation expects the node input data to connect binary file. Okay, cool. So this is also where we have to add the image URL and we have to give it the web content link. So I'm going to execute the step. This will now describe the image that we can then use on the AI agent. And I'm showing you just the raw reality of what it actually is like, because when you test, it's just always like this. Pin this, and I'm going to send this request. Now, the way that this actually works is that we actually have two different types of requests. The first request is sending, hey, can you actually, it's sort of like you have an employee, right? We say, hey, can you do the task? And then after 15 seconds, you check, hey, did you finish the task? But the first request is just a, hey, can you do it? It's not actually a, hey, can you do it and send it back, right? And so that's why this is called a submit a request, because you're sort of submitting a request to the actual server saying, hey, can you make the image? And then we use the get the result to get the actual result. To say, hey, can you get me the actual image? Which is why this is get and this is post. Because post is sending information, get is receiving something. And so right here, we can see that the status is in queue, which means that it's in queue. It's sort of like you go to a theme park and you have different queues. You wait until your turn, until you get into a roller coaster and you show yourself, right? And so that's exactly what this is. So we now created the image. In theory, we would wait 15 seconds before having this next step right here, which should give us the actual image. As you can see here, we have the URL of the image, which is this one right here. So you redid it in a way where there's minimal people here and it looks cleaner, right? Rather than the actual original one with more people here. Now, obviously the quality isn't so much better, of course, because this was already a pretty good picture. But let's say you added a low quality sort of thing of a product or something else, this would make it super high quality, at least much better than what it seems. But the fact that AI did this is kind of insane. So once we have this, which is a get request with this URL, and that's it, we then want to pin this and pin this too. We go to the next step, which is now generating a 3D model with that image, right? And so that's where we use this exact AI agent, which is set up the same way pretty much as this. We connected it to a brain, which is ChatGPT. Then the output parser would be the texture quality, the PBR enabled and face limit. And these are fields that you just need in order to then give it to the actual model to say, hey, can you make a 3D model about this? And can I give you the texture quality, PBR enabled and face limit, which are just very specific stuff about the actual model. And if I go in here, I can see that this is a user message. So we say analyze the enhanced image and user descriptions to determine optimal Tripo3D model generation settings, user description, original image analysis, right? And so we give it this full thing. And then we say determine the best texture quality, PBR settings, and face limit for this Tripo3D model generation. And then down here, you want to turn this on. And then down here, we give it again the role, the goal, and some other stuff that it needs. And we also explain what PBR enabled is. So true for realistic materials, false for simple appearances, right? And some other stuff, some other settings that we would need to know in order for us to make that 3D model. So now I can run this agent and this should give me the prompt that I can again give to the actual agent. And this right here gave me the settings that I can use. So if I go here, I can pin this. If I go to the actual AI, we're now going to use Tripo3D. So if I go here back, it's pretty much the same concept as before. You can go to home. We can look for Tripo3D. It's right here, the first one. We go to API and it's pretty much the same thing. So we submit a request. We say, hey, can you make this happen? And then down here, get the request. Now we also have a step in between, which is fetch request status. So in the actual example of an employee, I go to the employee and I say, hey, can you do this task? Then every 15 seconds, we ask, did you finish? Did you finish? Did you finish? Now, once the employee finished, and again, did you finish is just the fetch request status. So we want to get the status where it's at. And then to get the result is, okay, once you finish, just give it back to me, okay? So send the request, poll. So we basically call it polling, which is asking the actual person, did you finish? Did you finish? Did you finish? In this case, we're asking the server, hey, did you finish making the 3D model? If yes, send it back, right? If not, then keep going. And so right here, we want to use this exact URL. The header auth is right here, the content type, and the actual body, which I got from here, right? Just this right here. Let me give it the image URL because there isn't any prompt really. It's just the actual thing. And then face limit, which is just the number that we use, texture HD, PBR true, auto size true, and then atoms batch 1 to 3000. And so these are the settings that we would need in order to make this 3D model happen. Now, again, there's no words as a prompt. We just give it the image because that's exactly how it works. That's the model works. And so right here, I could also submit. Play around is just the way that we actually do it. As you can see, we submitted 3 different images or 4, and it turned it into this human right guy. There you go. And so that's why the input is images and not a prompt like it is for the image model. So once this is done, we can actually test this, and you can see this is a very quick request because we're just sending a request to the server saying, hey, can you get this done? And now this is where the interesting part happens. So this is the polling thing. So we get the status and then we wait 15 seconds. And if the status is completed, then we go forward and we get the URL. If the status is not completed, which means that it's false, then we go back here, we get the status again, we wait 15 seconds, we get the status again, we wait 15 seconds, false again and again and again until the status is actually completed before going to get the URLs. Now, if I go here, I can see that the status is in progress and we have a request ID. Append this. And so then we wait 15 seconds here and then we wait here as well. So I'll catch you when it's done. And actually before it finishes, I can show you here that it's going looping around. So 15 seconds, then it's gonna check the actual status and it goes down the false way. You can go, we have 3 now, and you go B4 and B5, 6, 7, 8, until it reaches about 3 minutes to then finish. All right, so you can see here, it just finished. And now, because of course the status false branch was about 5, in this case, the status was completed. And the final steps are get the URL, which is using this right here, which again, we get from the API and we get the result. Request right here, and we give the request ID, which in this case, the request ID you can find right here, request ID. Say, hey, this is the URL, so this is the action that we're taking. And usually the URL is just saying to the server, hey, this is literally the action that I want to do. And then the last part is giving it a unique ID of that specific run, so we know exactly what to do. And then for the header auth, which is our password for that account, we just give it the one that we made before. And then we get a task ID, we get the URL here, which we can then download using a simple GET request, right? Which you can simply download here and we can use to turn this right here into a 3D model that looks like this, which is kind of sick. I'm not gonna lie. There we go. Of course, the better the prompt is, the better maybe we can make this the inside of the thing to make it more realistic, to add some more stuff around it. But just the fact that we got this far with AI, with using a simple prompt, is kind of insane to me, because if realistically you opened up so many doors for people now looking to provide these as services to clients, because honestly, agencies and businesses don't know this is around and they have no clue this is even possible. And it costed 44 cents, right? Which is insane as something that's as simple as this. So there is the full workflow step by step. It's consisted of 2 AI agents and it's actually quite simple, right? We just literally get the input as an image. We analyze the image, we then make the prompt better. We then use another model to make another image to make it better. And then we simply make the 3D model based on that image and we download it. That's it. And typically the simpler automations like these are the ones that drive the most business value. Now, if you want to download the whole system for free into your own account, check the second link down below, which will take you to my free school community. You can go to the classroom section, you can go to the templates vault, and on the latest video, you should be able to see the 3D model AI agent, and you can download the n8n automation blueprint. As always, disclaimer is that not everybody gets in, so please put some thoughts into your answers and I'll see you on the inside. And if you're looking to start your own AI agency and actually putting these technical skills to practice and making some money with it, then check the first link down below. And if you like this video, then you're gonna love this video up here, where I show you how I build a Facebook ads parasite system inside of n8n. With that being said, I hope you found value from this video and I'll see you in the next one.